What's going on, people? This is the Entourage Podcast, and my name is Kwame J. Along here with
It's your boy Jason.
what is going on. So today's topic, we're going to talk about African parents being unaffectionate, or they're not being affectionate enough in
To
the homes.
who? Their wives, their kids.
Wives, kids, people around them.
It pretty much grows with them from their upbringing, right? If
You
they
think
don't
so?
get it, they'll take it into marriage, and then also they have kids.
Beat their kids.
Exactly. So
Hey, you, if you sip him. Yeah, so I mean, I saw a video of Wale, the famous rapper, talking about how he can't be affectionate with his daughter because, he was never brought up that way. And I kind of felt what he was saying. Now, granted, I grew up in a different home.
hallelujah.
My parents never told me they loved me or whatever, but the way they worked to show, hey, we love you,
Okay.
but they never
Actually said it.
said it. Yeah.
What do you think like is the issue with actually like our parents or whatever, like in our community, saying you love someone? Like it has a strong, not like a connotation to it that it's so scary. It's like love is so huge, and so you have to be really careful, even if it's your own child.
Yeah. Well, I think, one, they were never brought up that way.
All right.
Africans never used words of affirmation.
Affection and
Yeah.
all that.
And I think it's just weird to them, because to them, that's like a white people thing. Or, am I wrong?
You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
because my dad is never going to come to, hey, Junior, I love you. You know what I mean?
And what is the response? Have you tried like saying it back to him?
Oh, I have never tried.
Look at you. You're not even making it no better.
No. I've never tried to tell my mom I love you, but I think my actions do tell that I love my parents.
Yeah. I mean, my perspective is a bit different. We don't say it on a daily basis, but my dad has said it countless of times.
Yeah, see,
know?
you came from a different home.
Yeah, my parents are not like your typical African parents. And so, like I'm used to it. It doesn't bother me, even though like I didn't really live with my parents growing up.
Yeah.
So if anything, I should have like a little weird thing towards them because my grandma kind of pretty much raised me, and then me living with my parents now, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not used to them being around, and so I kind of just go about my business. Hey, what's up? Me and my dad, like everyone else that knows, my dad's like, oh, that's your brother, that's not your dad. It's just because we've had, that relationship. Granted, there's a respect there when the respect it needs to be,
Yeah.
shown, but at the same time too, we don't make it too awkward or anything. It's like, do your thing, I'm doing my thing, stay in your lane. If you need to talk, I'm here for you to talk.
Right.
So
I guess for me, I didn't start living with my parents till I was 11. I came to America when I was 11, right? And growing up in Ghana, my grandma never told me I love you, or like I said, that's just foreign to us, right?
Definitely.
And when I came here and started adapting to the American ways, one, my parents never spoke English to me. So to even say middle in chi is just kind of like
weird.
Yeah,
like,
right.
like junior middle.
So for me, I guess, that's one of those things where, like, when I started adapting to the American ways, it was just kind of like, okay, well, my parents never say I love you, and my little sister, who was born here, she actually never says I love you. Well, no, wait.
Well, I was gonna ask, do you interact with your siblings? Like
I do interact with my siblings, but we don't even say I love you to each other.
Bush family.
But again, like I said,
We know the love is there,
we
right?
know it's
But
there.
it's
So
just
it's
like
the way we show it, but we never like
actually say
it, right? And the way I grew up, my parents never beat me. That's one thing I give them props for.
Me too.
Yeah.
But then again, I didn't live with them. So by the time I lived with them, I was like, oh, like imagine my dad's like, hold
Right.
up, bro. You're not gonna
But
hit me.
it's just the way like my dad would interact with me. He would say, I remember one time I didn't do my homework. And he came home and woke me up and said, why no homework now? Meaning like, if you don't do your homework, you will not sleep in this house today, right? So that intimidation
Alone.
just kind of like it didn't make me want to get close to my dad.
Okay.
Sad to say, but it was just kind of, I didn't understand it at that time. But I mean,
Right.
now that I'm older, it's like, okay, I understand why he was doing it, but he just wasn't going about it the right way.
And it's like from our upbringing, everything. Once your dad comes in the picture, it's like, oh, I gotta get my acts together. You know?
Exactly.
You do something, it's like, oh, maybe for papa.
Eh,
That
right.
means like trouble is coming. So I feel like the moms are more lenient a bit. Some moms too are like really tough, but then it's like the dads. Whether your mom is tough, once you hear your dad's name, it's like an extra level of toughness is coming towards you. So you got to make sure everything is like in order, or whatever, depending on whatever the situation is. And I don't know if it's a good thing or it's a bad thing. I know as men, we have this thing that naturally like we. Not necessarily possessive, but it's like we come off as stronger.
Yeah.
And so in every household, I think everyone kind of experiences it. And I think that also kind of affects us in the way that, the communication between the dads and the children doesn't, because we feel more comfortable talking to our moms. Even that, you have to get to a certain age, where you feel more comfortable. I have like uncles that I'll rather probably talk to more than like my dad. Why?
Yeah.
Because it's just the relationship. But it's always the mindset that your dad, or something like that. So it's like it has instilled some sort of fear in us. Not necessarily, maybe it might not be fear, but it's just like you're being cautionate that you don't want no trouble.
And we grew up. Well, at least I grew up in a house where you don't question decisions that are made. You don't question you doing something So it's one of those things where, first of all, my dad, he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
He would just look at you. I know you've met my dad before, right? He's a quiet guy. He's not going to shout. But when you do something, he will just look at you and hey, that thing you're doing. Yeah. Right. But for me, my mom is the most talkative person you ever meet. Especially,
it's not talking to me like they just like to nag, man. Like
she would come home and the dishes are not washed. How can I be going to work, come back home all day, and the dishes are not washed? And it's like, oh, come on. But I mean, yeah, she had a valid point, but that kind of takes away from wanting to get close to your parents,
right?
Yeah,
because you always feel like they're coming at you with issues or trouble, even if it's something really that minimal. It's like, oh, watch, they're about to start screaming and yelling for no reason. So you just try not to even get closer.
Right.
Or you have this mindset that, oh, I want to share something with them. They wouldn't even look at it from your perspective.
Right.
They would just automatically, they will bring their experience to you.
Exactly.
Like, oh, no, this is how I did it. So you're going to go through the same route and then blah, 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 blah. It's like, just take a second and listen.
I guess, speaking of that, do you think it's going to change with our generation?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
You think so?
I think it will change. I think our generation, we're more like hip now. And it's like, we're, even though, like we're saying, we don't say the whole I love you thing, but I think with us knowing how it felt, not necessarily like showing that love, but at least like more or less, let's say affirming it more, I think we'll be able to do it with our children. Because we know the feeling of it and we don't want them to kind of go through it.
I guess for me, I started with my niece and nephews.
Right.
I try to tell them as much, hey, I love you, you look beautiful, whatever. But
you're just using it to practice.
Right, I'm using it to practice when I start having kids in a year or so.
Look out, guys. We got an entourage baby shower coming up.
Come on, man. But Wendy, if you're listening. Anyways.
We might have to cut this part out. I know.
But no, what I'm saying is, for me now, like I'm practicing, I feel like because I don't live with my niece and nephews, it's easier for me. Okay. But what if, when my kids grow up and they're being stubborn and all that, like how is that going to affect how I interact with them?
You see, I feel like we all at some point got to that age where like you get through teenage years or like even like as a baby, you grow as you go along, and then there every season that kids, it's like being bad and you have to kind of put your foot down. But at the same time, it's like I think it's all about the upbringing of the child. You know, as you're going along, as you're getting older, things are going to change, and then your child more than anyone else, and so you're noticing some behavior in them, and you start kind of taking care of it. You don't let it explode.
Yeah.
Once again, kids will be kids.
Yeah.
But I feel more so like, it can easily be tamed.
Yeah. Yeah.
As you're growing up, you keep watching them now from there, then like it will be able to kind of help resolve it.
Yeah, I think when we were growing up, or when I was growing up, like I said, I don't know where it seems like you and your dad are like this.
Right, that's what we make it seem like. I like that though. But I mean, I think we're fine though. We don't have any.
Right. For me, is we couldn't be friends with our parents. Like I couldn't ever go to my parents and be like, "Oh, I like this girl. I'm going to, I want the girl to be."
My dad would tell you like, "Hey, the condom, we're great." Like,
see, your dad would tell you that. But if I told my mom, "Oh, mommy, this is the girl I like," even for me, like before I told my mom about my wife, it was so weird. It was hard because it was like, "Oh, Mesha done Fubi." You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't a girlfriend. It wasn't, "Oh, I met a girlfriend." Like I met a girl who. It was like, "Oh, I met a girl." You know what I mean? It wasn't she's my girlfriend,
right? Like mind you, you've been dating forever already, but it's like,
and I'm in my 20s,
right?
You know what I mean? I shouldn't be nervous to tell my parents, "Oh, I met a girl," but it was just so weird. But then I guess African parents tend to lean towards it's okay for you to tell me stuff when you get older,
right?
I've noticed that they want to be friends with you as soon as you start hitting your 20s, and when is your girlfriend coming home? When is your boyfriend coming home?
That's the time that they want to go on retirement,
right?
They want to actually they need something to look forward to, right? The whole
my grandchildren coming?
Wedding planning process to show up to their friends and stuff. So it's like, let me start questioning.
For me, I think we got to do a better job
as children or as parents or Africans.
As Africans.
Definitely, yeah.
And I don't know how we can change their mindset. I guess you can't teach.
But that's what I'm saying. I think like that older generation, they're dead and gone, you know? So like now it's up to us to kind of like switch gears a bit. And I'm really confident in our like generation. Like this whole millennial group, I think we're more like we've suffered a lot.
We might have some of that DNA in us, though.
Definitely, not
that thing.
Not one you have to still be instilled in you, but definitely there's certain things that you can't bypass.
Exactly,
but at least I think for like the standard stuff, even like having open communication or dialogue, I think that's our biggest problem. And also parents are not willing to listen. They think everything goes your way.
Yeah,
fine, but at least hear me out.
Yeah,
and I think that's one thing that I don't even talk to my parents like that, but it's more so like I just know that they're ready to listen, or they're always asking, checking in, like how is everything going with you? Parents don't be asking. They see that you go to work, you're done with school and all that, so they think you're fine. But sometimes there's stuff really going on. But so yeah, like I was saying, it's like they need to hear us out. They always just use their experiences to kind of judge things. Like, okay, fine, it's good that you actually help your child not go the wrong way. I think that's every parent's dream. Like you're not going to tell your parents to do something that's not right,
Right.
But at the same time, you have to, depending on the situation, they have to hear us out, which they don't do a lot, So that's why a lot of people keep things inside them. They don't say it. They want to share stuff, but they already have this mindset that they're gonna come tell me their version of it, and it's not like they're even willing to listen. They're gonna be screaming on top of their lungs, like, "Oh, why did I answer?" Without even really digging down to the root of the situation. So, but I think we're more like open, especially with social media. People go on Twitter, rant, whatever, and I think with all that, it's the same way expressing our feelings and emotions and stuff out. So I think we'll be okay. But listen, discipline is discipline. I always say I want my kids or whatever to be friends with me. Whenever you have an issue, come talk to me. There's going to be
But you can't be too friendly with your kids.
That's what I was going to say. Like, if there's time to be serious, it's going to be serious. But it's not going to be like that household that is so cold. It's like you can't even, everybody just be in their own zone. Sunday, let's all sit down after church, watch TV together, whatever. Everybody do their thing.
Watch a
Fridays, let's eat out. Like something, something different.
Yeah.
But our parents didn't really do that with us, and so I can see where it's coming from. But I feel like you get to really choose your life and how you want to live, how to raise your family and stuff. So right from the beginning, once you start implementing these things, it becomes a smooth transition for you.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I hear what you're saying, but I think for me, it might be a little difficult.
it's all in your head, Kwame.
You think
me.
it's in my head?
Yeah.
No, because sometimes when I see kids, like when kids are screaming around, right?
Bro, you know the kids that we're dealing with right now, right?
Right.
Sometimes, like yesterday, I'm like, yo, mebuwo. But it's like, it's their
Right.
kids. I turn back, I'm like, I never used to act this way.
Right.
I don't think I was that,
But that's what I mean. See, that's what I mean.
And I
When,
used to act
your
this
kids
way.
get older and like they start acting stupid, or sorry,
Not stupid, but like, they're
they
misbehaving,
start acting, Would you want to like spank them or?
Oh, spanking will be a thing. It's like,
But that's the thing. I don't like spanking.
see, I don't think spanking does anything. There was one time my grandma gave me a slap, and I always tell her about it. I'm like, listen, this slap you gave me, I'll never forget. Over something really silly, talking about I went out and grandparents, your parents live abroad, and then they're supposed to be responsible for you. And that day was supposed to rain or something. Ghana, you don't really check weather. So
right.
out of nowhere, it got cloudy and dark, and she started panicking like, hey, I got home, no questions asked.
Obi the Tofia Dada.
So it's like I understood where she was coming from. At the same time, I was just like, it was just the weather. The clouds just,
Right.
So in the same way, I feel like beating kids, there are people that got beat and some people that didn't get beat. They all came out okay.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. I think sometimes we need a child on Tidia, you can show them a little bit, but
Right.
I don't think beating or whooping a child is like the main result or anything, because that's how people get abusive and stuff, because they're used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that will happen. A little tap on the behind or whatever it is that you have to put them on timeout. Even here, timeout works. So, take electronics from them and whatever that you have to do to kind of,
I guess also it's how you start out with your kids.
Right. That's what I was saying.
Yeah. If you start out like shouting at them, hey, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this, and
you don't explain things to them,
right.
It becomes like, okay, why am I not supposed to do it?
Exactly.
That's how we were raised.
Right.
We are not supposed to ask questions. We just said,
true. You
it's not good. Don't do it. But why?
But
why? They don't tell us
American
anything.
kids ask questions.
Yeah.
We ask questions a lot, and I think that's how, like, we understood. We understand that. Okay, it's okay for kids to ask questions and it's okay to answer.
Right.
For them to know. Okay, this is why you shouldn't. But as my parents, they never answered why.
Right. They just
said, just don't do it.
Don't do it.
Yeah. And we did it anyways.
Right, exactly. Right? Because we're curious.
Yeah.
Like, if you're not going to let us do it, or you're not going to tell us why not to do it, then we're going to figure it out ourselves.
Yeah.
We hit our heads on the wall, then at least we know that
we
checked it out on our own, and then now we know why next time we wouldn't, do whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, like you said, we're going to do better as parents.
Yeah.
And
I trust my entourage people.
Hopefully. Hopefully you people out there can do better too. Once again, this is the Entourage Podcast.
Today, Jay and Kwame decided to hop on because, our schedule's been really crazy.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys are family men now, and it's
a lot of them are married,
getting ready to have kids, and all that stuff.
Pretty soon we're gonna be going to baby showers.
So it's
we only have one more wedding left. No, wait, we have.
Wait. Anyway, so like I was saying, so we've been kind of busy and kind of falling off. But guys,
wait, why did you stop me?
Anytime that, whoever that is available hops on. You might see a whole bunch of people like before, or you might not, but whoever is available, we're going to just use this as a venting session, kind of.
Right.
We want to hear from the parents now and the married couples, those that are not married too, they'll take some notes from their senior brothers. And
anyways, guys, subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow us on Instagram.
Yeah.
Do we have a liking page?
Bro, we don't have a Facebook one, but we're good with Instagram.
No, we do have a Facebook.
Oh yeah,
page.
We do.
Yes.
Guys, see how long it's been. We even forgot that we own these things. But
exactly.
Also, we're trying to, get our content onto Apple Podcasts. So it's in the works. I think
out for that.
Before we were having issues with quality of sound and stuff, but now we're really trying to test these things out to see how it come out.
And we might not be in the same location too as well.
Yeah, so bear with us,
Yeah, as we work these things out.
We're very hardworking young men, and
Yeah.
duty calls, so we're all
yeah.
over the place.
Yeah,
But
we try to make it work.
yeah, definitely.
So yeah, once again, my name is Kwame Ajay,
And I'm Jason Ansan.
and we're out.
Peace out.